Matt Farrow, as you can see there on the bottom right-hand corner, near the bottom. He was the winner at Yas Marina, beating off reigning champion Gregory de Grief. He took the lead in the first round of pit stops and held him off for the rest of the race. It was a superb performance. Third place was Ben Crooks, who was the World Touring Masters runner-up and double race winner last year. Fourth was John Wilson on his debut in R Factor, so that was a superb performance there from John for Zeno Racing, number 99. And in fifth position was Jesper Torborg, the ATCC and RDTCC champion, number 963. We're just in qualifying at the moment, just started qualifying, and drivers are just about to start their qualifying hot laps. So let's run you through that. And Gregory de Grief sets the first hot lap of the day. Oh, it's Ben Crooks. Trump's in there, straight back to the pits, 19.910. We may see an 18 here today, but it will be a very good lap indeed if it's an 18. As Crooks comes back out of the pits, and Gregory de Grief is 3/10 up already in the first sector on his great rival Ben Crooks. Very sideways coming out of turn 7, now heading up towards turn 2. Let's go on board with Gregory through this section. Really is a very, very scary corner. Dabbing the brakes flat out through there. Now down towards turn 9, the hairpin just getting out of the way is Joachim Skaustad in his Holden Commodore. Now through turn 11, just about getting the car into the apex. I think he missed it slightly. He lost 3/10, but he's still up on Ben Crooks in that second sector, getting another lap out of these tyres. As Ben Crooks decided not to, just about getting the power on also as well. I think that's not going to be a great lap in the end though, because he's just slowed up on the exit. He had 2:67, so he didn't go fast in his own time in the end, despite he's hit the curves very hard through there. Florian Strauss has gone third place for 360 Racing. Here he is, and he's purple in that first sector. Seems that Ben Crooks' first sector wasn't brilliant, but the second two sectors obviously were. Tim Brookings fourth at the moment, ahead of Jesper Torborg and his 05 Motorsport teammate Steve Davis. As Florian whacks the wall very hard in the inside at turn 8. That's what turn 8 can do to you. Tim Brook just coming out of the pits for another run. Jesper Torborg in the pits. Steve Davis on a hot lap at the moment. Let's see what he can do as he comes roaring through turn 8, down towards the hairpin at turn 9. Big braking zone, and he's 8/10 down on Ben Crooks. If he holds that, he will improve. No, he's not going to bother with it in the end, so he's on a 20.8. He just needs a couple of tenths to improve, and he'll go straight up into fourth position. Comes out in plenty of traffic there. 7th is Matt Farrow. 7th is Adam Egbeer. 8th is Matt Farrow, our round 1 winner. Here he is, driving for GT Omega Racing. His debut in the TouringProSeries also as well, and he showed his mettle by holding off Gregory de Grief for the best part of 30 laps at Yas Marina. Ben Crooks still in the pits with a 19.910. Gregory de Grief on an outlap, Florian an outlap. Tim Brook just coming out of the pits. Jesper is on an outlap, so is Steve Davis, Adam Egbeer and Matt Farrow. Mikkel Vinatieri is 9th. Round at the top 10 is Norbert Leitner, the Hungarian, in his Ford. That's into the pits. Comes from the M4A BRC cars. I think that's Mark Fanman, it is. 12th is James Johnson. He had an unhappy time at Yas Marina, struggling a little bit here as well, but 12th he'll play to be happy with at the moment. 13th is Jari Venari, his RPM teammate. 14th, Yuri Braham. 15th, Samuel Lenonen. 16th, Andreas Schmick. In 17th is Anders Nielsen. 18th is Reese Gardner. 19th, Tobias Schlemo. 20th is Ike Roding. 21st, James Feller. 22nd, Philip Antonia in his Facebook car. 23rd is Andrei Karpal. 24th, Dmitry Botnarenko. No, 25th now is Dmitry Botnarenko, as purple is Gregory de Grief in Sector 1 once again. Here is Ben Crooks, our provisional pole sitter at the moment. Still 30 minutes to go in this session. Gregory de Grief has come round sector 2 and is still purple. What can he produce for the final part of this lap? We saw him struggling slightly last time around, although it was on his second lap on those tyres. Braking very, very deep, get the car in, swing it around. Very challenging track this. Plenty of high curves. Was Gregory got for the poleman? He can do it. 19.649. Provisional pole position there for the reigning champion. Gregory de Grief absolutely stacks it into turn 1, 2 and 3. It's a very dangerous corner indeed. Third place is still Florian Strauss. Matt Farrow's now into third place though. He's just gone from 20.206, less than a tenth faster than Florian Strauss. Ben Crooks though is purple in that first sector on Gregory de Grief. Just needs to put together the same kind of sectors he did in the first race, and a fantastic lap there from Florian Strauss. He wasn't purple even in the second sector, but still managed to pull a 19.644 out of the bag, 5 thousandths faster than Gregory de Grief only. Third place is Ben Crooks, over half a second up. How on earth is he doing? Is this half a second up? So this Florian Strauss was very, very slow in sector 2, but somehow managed to produce it in sector 1 as Philip Antonio just about gets out of the way of Ben Crooks there. Almost a big accident. Ben coming now down towards turn 13, the final hairpin. Oh, he's missed the apex completely. It's going to ruin his lap. To the line he comes. What has he got? It's 90.641. How close is that? 641, 644 and a 649. 8 thousandths of a second are separating the top 3. That is insane. Very, very close action here in the World V8 Supercars. Matt Farrow's coming round to complete another hot lap. He's not going to improve though. Fifth place is John Wilson now. He's moved up the order. Sixth place is Tim Brooks, still ahead of Jesper Tolborg and Steve Davis. Steve 1.1 seconds down after that second sector. So he's gone for 20.7 if he matches Ben Crooks. So he will improve ever so slightly if he can just match Ben Crooks' final sector, which wasn't tidy. Steve just about getting into the corner as well. Quite difficult to get it into there, of course. He's level with Jesper Tolborg at the moment, and now he's not now because he's fifth place, gone ahead of John Wilson by 1 thousandth of a second to take that top 5, and people are obviously enjoying crashing themselves through turn 2 and turn 3. Seventh now is Norbert Leitner. Action-packed here, 20.730. Look at that, they're so close. Mark Fanman now 5th, 20.467. It's getting hot and heavy here at the moment. Third place, Gregory de Grief, is still in the pits. He's third by 8 thousandths of a second. Second is Florian Strauss. On provisional pole is Ben Crooks, in plenty of traffic at the moment. Is that Tim Brook in behind him? I believe it is. Mark Fanman's on another hot lap. He's fifth at the moment on 20.467, driving for Motorsport for All Berlin race crew. Try saying that when you're drunk. Sixth is Steve Davis. Seventh, as I was saying, is John Wilson. What has he got in this lap? Very sideways coming out of turn 11. Now into turn 12 and turn 13. Very out of shape under braking. Oh, very, very beautiful. Very 20.662 there for John Wilson. Sixth position. So he improves once again. Just pushes Steve Davis down one more position. Here is Steve Davis, driver for 05 Motorsport. 8th is Norbert Leitner. 9th is Steve Davis's teammate Tim Brook. 10th is Jesper Tolborg. He's not really having much of a happy time of it at the moment, but he's not very far behind. Just needs to improve by a couple of tenths, but that's not going to be good enough. 1.4 seconds down in that second sector on the pole sitter. 11th is Adam Egbeer. 12th is Reese Gardner. 13th is Miguel Vinatea. 14th, Ike Rodin, Mark Fanman's teammate. 15th is Anders Nielsen. 16th Tobias Schlemmer. 17th, Samuel Leinonen. Let's go back to the leaders, shall we? And check what they've got for us. Matt Farrow making a big mistake and smacking the wall very hard. Gregory de Grief in third position still, of course. Not improved his time. Not gone out again since then. Florian Strauss is in second. First is Ben Crooks, of course. He's on an out lap also as well. Let's find somebody who's on a hot lap at the moment. Mark Fanman is on a hot lap, but he's not on a very quick lap, 20.7. But of course, he may improve in his final sector, but I don't think he's going to do so. 6th is John Wilson. 7th is Steve Davis. 7/10 already down in that first sector. Perhaps not being brave enough through that turn 1, 2 and 3 complex. Here is Norbert Leitner now then. This is the turn 1, 2 and 3 complex. Look how you throw the car through there, then get it straight again for the next bit. Don't clip the curve on the inside because it sends your car slightly sideways. Now down towards turn 4. Very difficult braking zone, almost down a hill. Get back across the track for a very similar turn 5. Lots of 90-degree corners here, all in a row. Shoot down towards turn 6. Turn it in, keep it nice and neat, run over the curb on the outside. Now turn in at turn 7, run over the curb on the outside once again as well for the best run down the straight towards turn 8. He's fearsomely fast. Right-handers claim many V8 Supercars over the years. Into here he goes, dab of the brakes, in. Get the power on as early as you can, as early as you dare. Try not to clip the inside wall too much. Brake very, very hard for turn 9, very tight hairpin. Don't run over the curb on the outside because it'll only slow you down. Nice and neat there from Norbert Leitner. Now, switching back across into turn 10. Squeezing the power on, don't run onto the grass. Now down towards turn 12. Just needs a dab of a gear down. Float it in. Get it straight for the braking zone, which immediately arrives afterwards. And then get the power on out of turn 13. And that's a hot lap of Adelaide on board Norbert Leitner. 6th place now is Tobias Schlemo, who is Florian Strauss's teammate, with a 20.591. As we watch Norbert Leitner just touching the wall coming out of turn 3 there, which is incredibly easy to do. 10th place is Tim Brook. 8th is Steve Davis. Not able to improve since that early lap time he set. 6 minutes to go in this session. 7th is John Wilson. 6th is Tobias Schlemo. 5th is Mark Fanman still. 4th is Matt Farrow, our championship leader, of course, after winning race 1. 3rd is Gregory de Grief, the reigning champion. He's 2/10 down on Ben Crooks in that second sector, but we saw that Ben Crooks lost half a second to Florian Strauss earlier, but Florian has gone pole position, 19.507. Obviously improved his first couple of sectors, so he's got pole position by a 10th from Crooks and de Grief. What has de Grief got for this final sector? We don't know what sort of sector time it was compared to Strauss, of course, and it's been 20-0, so not good enough for the reigning champion. Came second in the first race. Qualified second also. As Norbert Leitner goes 5th position. Norbert Leitner into 5th position in his Ford, the Hungarian running very strongly here, just behind Matt Farrow. It's almost 3 groups of cars here at the moment. 6th, John Wilson, 20.412, bumping Mark Fanman down from 5th to 7th in the blink of an eye, but Gregory de Grief is 3/10 up on Florian Strauss in that first sector. What has he got for the rest of the lap? Shoots through turn 8. Very smooth indeed. Comes down to sector 2 and has now lost half a second in that sector 2 to Florian Strauss. But Norbert Leitner is also very, very quick in that first sector. Obviously a poor first sector there from Strauss because he's so quick in sector 2. And everyone seems to be going faster than him in sector 1. Down towards the hairpin comes Gregory de Grief. He's doing 2 laps on these tyres. More than other drivers are, I think. Lots of other drivers just going for 1 run on the tyres, but Gregory decided he is confident doing 2 laps. What has he got? It's 19.9. Still not good enough for the reigning champion. 19.922. Still in 3rd position by that small, minuscule margin. 4th is Matt Farrow, 20.209, almost matching his lap time, but not good enough to improve, of course. He's going to have to improve by 0.6 of a second just to go up 1 position on the grid. But, of course, he's kind of having to fend off from Leitner and Wilson at the moment. Here is Leitner. Anders Nielsen pops up with a 20.580 into 8th position on the grid. 3 minutes to go in this session. 7th is Mark Fanman. It's fast and furious here at the moment at Adelaide. What has Ben Crooks got? He's in the pits. Florian Strauss has gone out on an out lap. He's not confident, of course, of keeping that pole position, it seems. Of course, you can see how much he can improve in Sector 1. If he can do his Sector 1 the way he can do the rest of the sectors, he'll be untouchable. The second place is Ben Crooks. Third, Gregory Reeves, as I was saying. Fourth is Matt Farrow. Fifth, Norbert Leitner. Sixth, John Wilson. Seventh is Mark Fanman, just starting a hot lap. Eighth now is Tim Brook. He's just pushed Anders Nielsen down one position. There is Anders Nielsen down in ninth now. 10th now is Tobias Schlemmer. He was 6th not more than 2 minutes ago. 5-9-1, incredibly close here. 11th is Andreas Schmick. 12th is Steve Davis. He won't be happy with that at all, but he's only 6 tenths down in Sector 2. This could be the lap where Steve Davis puts it all together. Let's follow him through. Oh, he's got it all out of shape there into turn 11. I don't think he's going to improve as a result of that. He's lost at least half a second. 13th now is Adam Egbeer, moving up. Jesper Torborg, the ATCC champion and RDTCC champion, is still 14th. After coming 5th in round 1 and qualifying 3rd. Steve Davis still is in 12th. Doesn't improve his lap time, but he was on for a corker of a lap time there until that mistake at turn 11. Here is Jesper Torborg, about to start another hot lap. He won't be happy with his lap times at the moment. His teammate, of course, is on pole position at the moment, in second place, sorry, on the front row. So he'll be looking to match his teammate. He floats it through turn 1. Oh, he gets it out of shape, well out of shape. Big accident there for Jesper Torborg, and he's going to have to get back to the pits and go straight back out again, else he won't have time. You have to roar around the track. He's got about 6 seconds spare here. Steve Davis also on an out lap. He's got plenty of time. So Tobias Schlemmer on an out lap. Anders Nielsen is back in the pits. Will not set another time, so he will be 9th at best. Tim Brook is about to start another hot lap. This will be his final hot lap. See what he can produce. 7th is John Wilson. 6th is Norbert Leitner. 5th is Mark Fanman. Just 9/10 of a second down in Sector 2, so I don't think he's going to improve because he's only 7 tenths away overall. 4th is Matt Farrow, just under 2 tenths slower in that first sector, so maybe he can perhaps get up towards the Grief and Crooks. Let's see what he can produce. Who else is on the hot lap? Gregory de Grief is in 3rd still, 3 tenths down in that sector. Ben Crooks is in the pits, will not set another lap time, so he'll start from 2nd at best. Florian Strauss just matched his first sector time, but he wanted to improve it really because everyone else was improving that time. Gregory de Grief now coming down towards the final corner. We'll watch him, then we'll skip to Matt Farrow to see what he can do. Gregory coming around the final turn, trying to squeeze the power on as much as he can, getting well out of shape. Nice to watch, but it's not very fast because it's in 19.9. Again, very consistent there from Greg, but not good enough to improve. And he's tried to flow it through turn 1 and turn 2 too quickly and not improved. Matt Farrow has improved his lap time to 20.1, but not good enough to improve his position, of course. Matt Fanman is also on a hot lap. See what he can produce. He's on his 2nd lap, I think. Plenty of debris on the track at the moment. Down towards the hairpin. As he comes through there also. It would be nice if there wasn't so much lag. As Leitner is in 6th position for this. So that's it, I think. I think everyone has finished their laps. Yeah, everyone has finished their laps. That's the end of the session, and it's ended with Florian Strauss on pole position. So congratulations to him. Alongside him on the front row will be Ben Crooks. Florian's qualified 3rd at Yas Marina. Ben only qualified 8th, so he's improved his qualifying performance greatly. So it's Florian Strauss who's taken pole position for this Adelaide race. Alongside him on the front row for 3ID FCR was Ben Crooks. Third place, Gregory Degree. Fourth is Matt Farrow. Fifth, Mark Fanman. Sixth, Norbert Leitner. Seventh is John Wilson for Zeno Racing. Eighth is Tim Brook for 05 Motorsport, beating his teammate, of course. Ninth is Anders Nielsen. 10th was Tobias Schlemo for 360 Racing, his teammate and pole. 11th is Andreas Schmick. 12th was Steve Davies. He won't be happy with that. He was running well during the practice session, just couldn't put a lap together. We saw he had the potential, but not quite enough. 13th, Adam Begbier for DSC. Jesper Torborg, teammate of Ben Crooks, is down in 14th position. He won't be happy with that at all, but of course he's not too far behind, just moving up several places in the field. Just not quite good enough. 15th is Jen Wang. 16th was Reese Gardner. 17th, Miguel Vinatea. 18th was Ike Roding, teammate of Mark Fanman. 19th, James Johnson, beating his teammate Yara Venari, who's in 22nd. 20th was Linonen. 21st was Hardwick. 23rd, Yuri Braham. 24th was Philip Antoni. 25th, James Fellows. 26th, Dmitry Botnarenko. 27th, Nikola Ilivanov. 28th, Kapal. 29th, Dobbing. And 30th position was Joachim Skalstad. As everyone just goes through their final preparations before the race. Let's just show you a lap then of this circuit. Hopefully I can stay on track long enough and to show you the corners around here. If I just go out on track. Very difficult for me to see, actually. I've got my plug-in still turned on, and with my low resolution that I have in the second window, it's not quite working. So let's see what we can show you guys. Hopefully these guys can just go past and give us some room. Just let them know there's a TV car on track. Driving without force feedback is quite difficult. So through here, turn 2 and turn 3. You can see it's very, very tight indeed through there on the opening laps and very, very quick. So drivers will have to move out of the way of other drivers. As we just let all these drivers go past. Helps if we're in the right gear. And we come down now towards turn 4. You brake there at about the 100 metre mark and come right down from 4th gear into 2nd, into there. And now through another 2nd gear right-hander here, burst up into 3rd gear, then into 2nd gear through here as well, run over the curb on the outside, into 3rd gear again, into 2nd gear once again, down 2nd gear, run out over wide over that curb, not quite as much as that, but I'm a rubbish driver. Now you just get full power all the way down towards turn 8, very, very fearsome turn 8. I'm going to be a pussy and just turn in, and right about there, through we go down here to let this driver go past. And then down to 2nd gear once again for this corner. Powering out of it, keep it nice and tight in there, get it straight for this braking zone if you can. 2nd gear out of there. I was in 3rd, but 2nd gear out of there normally. Then it down into this turn here. Get it through there. Get it straight again, straight away for the braking zone for the final corner. which is very crucial, of course, because it gives you the run all the way down this straight, and it's full power out of here, of course, and that's a lap of Adelaide. Very short, actually, in terms of time. We're now just 4 minutes away from the race session here. Here is Florian Strauss, our pole sitter. 19.7 already in race trim. That is fantastic stuff there from Florian. He means business here today. He was obviously caught up in that incident in race 1, where Douglas and De Grief got into each other. Douglas went off the track and span right in the middle of it, and Florian got the biggest hit on them. Jesper Torborg was also involved in that, along with Tim Brook and Steve Davis, so it ruined many drivers' races there, really. And Matt Farrow took advantage of the whole thing to take the lead in the first pit stops and took the win. And what was really a surprise result. Matt is seen as being quick, but not quite that quick, and it was a superb result really for him. He's 4th on the grid for this race also as well, of course. Just show you some of the speed you reach around here. 244 kilometers an hour in this car. He's very, very quick indeed, especially on such narrow circuits. This is probably the only part of the circuit that's really wide. Narrows again through here, as you can see. Florian missed the apex there. Narrows a little bit down there, and then down towards the heaven. There's plenty of room to make a move on the inside, but you really have to be alongside and to brake, and you can't just jam it up the inside. You've got to be right sensible about it. The other driver's got to know you're there as well. Of course, drivers will have to be very, very careful indeed on these opening laps around each other. 29 other drivers around them. It's going to be very, very difficult indeed to avoid incidents on the opening lap. I'd be surprised if we have an opening few clean laps, but drivers have been reminded time and again to be so. Hopefully drivers can be mature and give each other a little bit of respect, a little bit of room. This really is a track you cannot afford to not give respect to, because it will come and bite you. But Florian Strauss is looking in great shape here at the moment, so it looks like the race is between Florian, Greg and Ben, with perhaps Matt Farrow tag along for the ride as well. You see what Matt Farrow can do in the race is extremely consistent. If he gets ahead, it looked like it was very, very difficult to get past, and it's very, very difficult to overtake on this circuit as well. And you've got to be careful entering the pits also as well, as Florian just illustrated. It's very, very tight hairpin entering the pits. It's almost impossible to speed into the pit lane, which is nice. A couple of the drivers got pinged for that at Yas Marina, which is such a fast pit entry, and the pit lane speed limit is only 40 kilometers an hour. Kilometers an hour, not miles an hour, kilometers an hour. And it's very, very easy to speed, of course. Tim Brook and Jesper Torborg, I believe, were the drivers who got pinged last time around. So as the drivers get set for the race, Florian Strauss is quickest in warm-up also as well, but plenty of drivers just going through their final preparations, plenty of drivers not setting lap times, people like De Grief, Feynman, Brook, Davis, Egbeer, all not setting a lap time during the warm-up. As we wait then for the start of this race, 20 seconds to go. My prediction for this race is going to be go for a Strauss win with De Grief second, Crooks in third, and Farrow in fourth. Not a amazing prediction considering the qualifying results, but that's my prediction nonetheless. Not sticking my neck out too much here. The cream will always rise to the top. But strategy, of course, will be a big factor in this race, because you can, if you're very, very good with your fuel, you can stretch it to just 2 stops in this race. So it's very, very close indeed. If you get it down to, say, 2.8 litres a lap, you can actually make it last only 2 stops, which is a big, of course, advantage if you can do that. You may have, of course...
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
As the race is about to start, we may, of course, have worn tyres, but at least you won't have to make that extra pit stop, which takes around about 35 seconds to make a pit stop here. Of course, with that such a slow pit, the pits aren't quite as long here as they are at Yas Marina, of course, so it's not too bad, but still it's a big harm. So if you can stretch it to 2 stops, then you're on to a winner. If you can't, then just go for it as hard as you can. Hopefully drivers will just be careful in these opening laps. It's extremely, of course, easy to make a mistake as the drivers set off on their formation lap. Here they are, going around the track. It's a formation lap with a standing start. Drivers just getting themselves ready to go. There is Florian Strauss. Second is Ben Crooks. Third is Gregory de Grief. So you see the cars weaving along the straight. Very nice to see that is. As we build up to the start of this race. Drivers stream around turn 8, which will of course be a hotspot for accidents, I believe. Drivers weaving in the background. Here we are now getting ready for this race. I can feel the excitement building in me. I don't know how much the drivers are feeling it, but we've got a standing start here, so drivers will just come around to the grid, take up their stations, and then go from a standing start rather than a rolling one. So we make our way around, drivers just warming up their brakes, try not to run into each other, of course, as the other 30 drivers are still around at the hairpin. So these drivers are going to have to wait for a long time to come round to the for the rest of the field to come round to the grid. Just warming up their tyres there for, of course, the start of the race, as they line up on the grid, making sure to keep out of each other's way. Into the grid slots they come. There comes Ben Crooks into the grid slot. There's Gregory de Grief just backing into his pit stop. 4th is Matt Farrow. 5th is Matt Farrow, of course. The back of the grid is about to form up. Here they are. Capala's missed his grid slot. Not quite sure how he's managed that, but he's missed it. But we are now everyone underway. Everyone is on their grid slots. And we're away at round 2 of the World V8 Supercars 2011 season, and Strauss gets a superb start. De Grief have been swamped. Farrow from 4th to 2nd, straight through at turn 1. Take it easy through here, boys. Going to be very tight indeed as they flow through there. And they come down toward turn 4. Strauss in the lead. Second is Crooks. Third is Matt Farrow. Third is Crooks. 4th is Leitner, a great start from them. 5th is Mark Farmer. De Grief, a terrible start. He's back in 6th position. In 7th is John Wilson. 8th is Tim Brooks. Seems like there's plenty of clean racing going on at the moment. Nobody seems to be hitting anybody else at the moment. They've all made their way through turn 1, 2 and 3 very nicely indeed. But there's smoke coming from somebody there though. Who's that in the background? Not quite see who it is as the cars come flying through turn 8. As up ahead there is De Grief, just having a look at Fan Man. He can't quite get through, and now he's going to be done by Wilson. Wilson gets ahead of De Grief. So De Grief back down to 7th position now. Not quite able to make the move stick. just needs to calm their heads here. Always out of shape, very out of shape. Just need to calm the heads here and just keep it nice and smooth. Down towards the hairpin they go. Strauss is the leader. Farrow is in second. Third is Crooks. Fourth, Leitner. Fifth, Fanman. Sixth, Wilson. Seventh, De Griefs. Eighth is Tim Brook as they come flying through turn 1, 2 and 3. Down towards turn 4 they come. There is Matt Farrow, now championship leader of course, and Strauss has opened up a bit of a gap already. 0.9 of a second at the line. Looks like it's a bit bigger now coming through sector 1. Third place is Ben Crooks. Of course, we have 78 laps here to get today, guys, so there's no hurry for these drivers. They just need to take it nice and easy. It's 1.5 seconds now the gap to Florian Strauss. So 4th is Leitner, 5th is Fanman, 6th is De Grief, 7th is Brook, 8th is Nielsen. Where has John Wilson gone? John Wilson is down in 12th position. What happened to him? Let's try and see if we can see on the replay. Oh, he got out of shape. Oh, he's hit the wall badly as well. Got out of shape coming out of turn 6, I think that is. Yes, it is, turn 6. And now he's back, way back in the field. He's dropping like a stone. Back in 15th, he's getting a rub over from Dren Wang. It's a pile up there. Gardner there, Antonia, and one of the RPM guys involved as well. That really was caused by Dren Wang just pushing into people as everyone reverses out of the way. That's what we thought we'd see on these opening laps. It's a lot less serious than they thought it would be. There's Fellows and Johnson. It's Johnson there at the back of the field. Not sure what's happened to them. So they've had damage as well. So just 4 drivers here in big damage. I'm not sure if Antonia has big damage. He's not lost any bodywork, but it is damaged. But he's managed to get away without damage. He is at the back of the field, but he can keep going. There's a couple of guys come into the pits. Who's that? Into the pits comes Wilson and Johnson. Perhaps they can stretch their fuel if they come in a lap 2, so it might not be too costly for them. It still could be the same number of pit stops. Into the pits comes Wilson and Johnson. As we go back towards the front of the field, Strauss has a big lead over Farrow, 1.4 seconds. But Farrow's pegging him back a little bit. It's a big gap now back to Ben Crooks. 4th is Leitner, 5th is Fanman, 6th is still Gregory De Grief. Bit of a gap now though to Tim Brook, whose teammate is attacking Anders Nielsen down into turn 9. As they swing through there, out of the pits have come Johnson and Wilson. Repaired that damage and got on with their race. 9th is Steve Davis, as you can see. In 10th is Tobias Schlemo. 11th is Andrew Smickers, fastest lap of the race there from Florian Strauss. 20.183 on the 3rd lap. Here comes Adam Egbeer. He's in 13th. Ike Roding is in 12th. Teammate to Mark Fanman. Tobias Schlemmer's teammate to Florian Strauss is in 10th. 14th is Dren Wang, who we saw involved in that contact, getting inside John Wilson at the hairpin, who was damaged. And in a big battle, 15th was Miguel Vinatea. 16th is Oscar Hardwick, Dren Wang's teammate. 17th is Lenonen. 18th is Yara Venari. 19th, here is Yuri Braham, involved in a big battle here with Jesper Torborg as well. Torborg's had a terrible start to this race, starting 14th, now back in 20th position. Obviously finding these V8 Supercars around this track a massive handful. His teammate is up in 3rd position in the race as Torborg comes through turn 7 out onto the straight. 21st is Reece Gartley, involved in that contact as well. Managed to get away with it seems though. 22nd is Ilivano. 23rd is Kapal. 24th Botnarenko. 25th Dobbing. 26th Fellows, Antonia, Skaustad, Johnson, Wilson rounding out the top 30. First place, of course, is still Florian Strauss. Second place now is Ben Crooks. Matt Farrow's made a mistake. Through has gone Ben Crooks on Matt Farrow. What's happened there? Let's try and see if we can see it on the replay. Rewind back. If we can see it back, we can go. No, we don't have too much. Not going to let us see the rest of that, unfortunately. But now Matt Farrow's back down to 3rd position. Sorry. Now 2nd is Ben Crooks. 4th is Norbert Leitner still. 5th is De Grief. He's got ahead of Mark Fanman, making a move up the inside of Leitner. Oh, almost contact. That you have to be really alongside in that corner before you make a move there. So difficult on that downhill braking zone. Fanman is keeping close attention as Leitner goes very close to the wall there. Out of there they come De Grief, putting the power down, sliding the car coming out of turn 7. You obviously have the pace, just need to be patient He's got another 73 laps to go as they come roaring through turn 8 down towards turn 9. And braking hard for that hairpin. Applying the power nice and gently, of course, going to have to conserve their tyres quite a lot here. Plenty of drivers complaining about high tyre wear and high tyre temperatures because of the way they have to drive the cars, get them to go fast. Nielsen's still 8th. Davies is still 9th, still tracking him. 10th is Tobias Schlemo. 11th is still Schmick. 12th is still Ike Roding. Oh, he gets on the grass entering there. Almost out of shape. Well, he was out of shape, but almost off the track. As we go back towards this battle, here's Steve Davis. Let's go on board with him into turn 1, 2 and 3 on his bumper cam. Bump through we go, floating it through there, keeping his speed as much as he can, try not to punish the car too much, conserve those tyres through these very tricky 90-degree corners, don't apply the power too hard. Brakes, very, very good on the brakes there, as you see, a bit of bodywork there ahead of him. Who's that from? It looks, it's from De Grief, it's from De Grief. De Grief has hit the wall, and he's back down to 6th position. He's got big damage, he's all over the place at the moment. The reigning champion is a little bit flustered here. Let's see if we can see where it came from. Yes, it was from that section. He was making a move, trying to make a move, I think, on Leitner, who just clipped. Oh, he just clipped Leitner as Leitner went wide, and Leitner was trying to squeeze back, of course, onto the track away from the wall. De Grief couldn't avoid him and clipped him and hit the wall. Very unfortunate there for the reigning champion. So he's been a victim of circumstances. His bad start is really costing him here. He's back in the pack, or back in the upper half of the pack, involved in all this contact, but that means Mark Fangman is now into 4th position, gets well out of shape into turn 12, and now into turn 13. Out of there he comes. So 3rd is Matt Farrow. Ben Crooks has made a big gap now to Matt Farrow. Ben Crooks is 2nd. Florian Strauss is still our leader. Did a superb job here at the moment. Let's go on board with Florian Strauss and ride with the 360 Racing driver. And here the just gentle application of the throttle and then on the power hard. Down towards turn 8. Let's see what he's like through here. Flying through there, past the wall camera. Back on board with him now. Braking hard, of course, for that hairpin at turn 9. Very smooth, very consistent at the moment, it seems, from Florence Charles. Crooks has taken a 10th out of him in that 2nd section, so maybe Crooks has got something to say for this race. If anybody's just about conserving fuel, they may be able to make it 2 stops, of course, as off the track. That's Yuri Braham, it looks like. Let's see if we can see who that is. Oh, into the pits already, and out of the race is Miguel Vinatea with an accident. Into the pits has come Yuri Braham. He's Spanish, trying to enter the pits, I think. Wilson Johnson and Skalstad are just in front of him. Not sure what happened to Yuri there. He's stopped at the edge of the track. See if we can see on replay. He's lost his front bumper, whatever he's done. Of course, took a long time to get going again, of course, because he's spun right in the middle of the track. A very curious accident here. Oh, he's come through turn 11 by himself, getting out of shape, all by himself, and hit the wall, lost his front bumper, of course, and then tried to reverse it backwards and forwards onto the track. Of course, he's reversing back into the racing line there, so he can't reverse too much, and these cars don't have very much lock either, so he's had to kind of just inch it backwards and forwards. It's lost him lots and lots and lots of time, but Vinatea has her first retirement of the race. As we see, Florian Strauss still leading this race. 3.1 second gap now back to Ben Crooks. Yuri Braham a very long pit stop as well, almost a minute. So he's going to be lapped. I think he's going to be lapped almost twice by Florian Strauss. 3rd is Matt Farrow, who's had an incident. Plenty of smoke there. Let's see that on the replay. Coming through turn 9. Coming up towards turn 10, 11. Got it out of shape, obviously. As he brakes into there, got out of shape on the brakes, spun it right around, no contact, so he's got away with that in a way. Ilovanov has also pitted already. That could be a scheduled one, it could be going for a short pit and then 2 long stints. But now that means Matt Farrow is back in the clutches of Mark Fangman. He's been slow through turn 1, 2 and 3 as well, going to be under attack from Mark Vanman. Here we are now on board with the German driver attacking the British driver. Down into turn 4. Farah just about covers the line. De Grief has got past Norbert Lightner despite the damage on his car. It will be hurting his tyres though, that's the big thing for it. Of course, De Grief can see third place just up ahead, so consider the troubles he's got, he can still see third place ahead of him, so that's still good for him at the moment. Sixth is Lightner, as I was saying. Seventh is Anders Nielsen. As they come towards the camera and shoot through turn 8. Eighth is now Steve Davis. Where has Tim Brook gone? Tim Brook's made a mistake, now back to 10th. So he was in 8th, now back to 10th. He's lost 2 positions. 11th is still Schmick. 12th is Adam Egbeer. 13th is Juan Wang. 14th is Ike Rooney. He's made a mistake as well. So plenty of mistakes here from the drivers. But none up front though. Antonia. And who was that in the pits as well? Antonia and Gardner into the pits. Going for that short fill, I think, because of damage. Changing their strategy somewhat, I would guess. 15th is Oscar Harwick. 16th is Samuel Leonardo. Just behind here is Yari Venari. And there's Jesper Torborg, all out of shape. Still only in 18th position. Only picked up 2 positions so far in this race. And he almost makes contact there with Venari. Where's Venari gone? I think Venari's just disconnected. Yari Venari, oh, what a shame for him. He's disconnected from the race, I believe. There he was, or there he's supposed to be, and he's not there anymore. What a shame for the Finnish driver. As into the pits comes Jeff Dobbing, and yes, Yari Venari is out of the race. What a pity for him. He's just looking for a finish here today, and his internet, of course, has given up on him. So plenty of incidents back in the pack. And here is another gaggle of cars who are looking for incidents, in a way. Schlemer's got past Steve Davis, it looks like. Yes, Schlemer's got past Steve Davis. So Steve Davis has made a mistake. Anders Nielsen is now in 7th. De Grief has dropped back behind Leitner once again. De Grief is into the pits. So De Grief is pitted. Let's go forward to him and see his pit stop. There he is. The reigning champion into the pits. Obviously going for a short first stint. Get that damage repaired. And he can go out and do 2 longer stints to finish the race off. So that moves Leitner up to 5th position once again. As we move through the field, there's Wang. There is Egbeer. There's Schmick. Brook and Davis. Line astern. There's Tobias Schlemo. He's in 8th, sorry. Nielsen 7th. 6th, sorry. We'll get the position sorted out eventually. 5th, of course, is Leitner. It's a long pit stop there for De Grief, of course, to repair that damage. 36 seconds. 4th is Mark Vanman. Not able to do anything about Matt Farah despite catching him. There's Yuri Braham, just up ahead. He's been lapped twice now, I think. So Crooks is still just 2.9 seconds behind Florian Strauss, who's put in a masterclass here at the moment. Very consistent lap times, 20s and low 21s. And so has been Ben Crooks. 3rd is Matt Farah, 4th Matt Vanman. Let's go back towards a battle on track. They're all quite spread out just at the moment in time. Here's Anders Schmick. Wasn't supposed to be in Division 1 for the first race, but able to move up due to a couple of absences. And has now cemented his place in Division 1, of course. And lots of people coming out of the pits there. Lots and lots of people. Gapal, one of the ones coming out of the pits. Let's go back through the field and see them. There's fellows still going. There's De Grief. Wilson. Here is Schalstad. Johnson coming out of the pits as well. So lots of drivers going for a bit of a shorter first stint. Here is Reece Gardner. He's pitted, has been lapped. He's in between the 05 Motorsport twins and Schmick. Reece Gardner's in 22nd position. 23rd here is Jeff Dobbing. 24th is Ilivan. 26th is James John. 27th is Yuri Braham. 28th now and last is Philip Antonia. I'm not sure What's happened there? He's had to come into the pits again. I thought I saw him coming out of the pits. So he's pitted twice now then. Not sure what's happened to him. Perhaps he's sped in the pits and had to do a drive-through. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. James Fellow has come out of the pits in 20th position. But only two retirements so far. Venari disconnects and Vinatea an accident. And Hardwick now has DNF'd also. Not quite sure what's happened to him. Has he disconnected? I believe he may have done. He was in 21st time as we see Wilson having another spin on those curves. Really struggling with the V8 today. Kept it out of the wall that time though. But he lost a position. No, he didn't lose a position at all. Just lost some time. He's behind Gregory DeGrief. Gregory DeGrief is the last driver not a lap down at the moment because everyone's making their pit stops. But after a great first round, John Wilson is finding it a bit harder going here as we see. Plenty of incident. There's Braham again spinning in the background. He's having a torrid time at the moment. Here's 4 cars all very close together. There's Torborg, Kapal, Lenonen, and of course must be Johnson because his teammate's out of the race. Kapal just moving across. He must be a lap down from this battle. And none of the front runners have come into the pits just yet. They're all still going around. The first person to pit at the moment has been Gregory DeGrief. As DeGrief has had... Oh, DeGrief! DeGrief is spun! What on earth's happening there? Just off camera there. Let's go... Let's find him. Find him on the track and show you that. There he is. He's spun out of the race. He's having a terrible time here at the moment. See if we can show you that on the replay. Don't think we're going to be able to. But just coming... He was very, very slow at turn 1, 2 and 3 and then he's coming to be lapped by somebody. He's spun again, look. He's spun again. What's going on? As we come through here he is. Coming into turn 6, just spinning out once again. He's having problems with his brakes, perhaps. Look at that. On the brake, just spins it right around. He's got a puncher. He's got a puncher on his... Yes, he has. On his left rear. He's got a puncher. Can he get going again? So he's obviously smacked the wall, I think, through turn 2 and 3 and caused that puncher. Of course, was stranded on there and Fellows almost hit him. Just got out of the way. And what's happened to him? Has he just gone back to the pits? Gregory DeGrief has quit from the race. Suspension damage. So the reigning champion is out. What on earth happened there? Very bizarre. That leaves Florian Strauss and Ben Crooks at the front of the field. Our second place, he was Gregory DeGrief at the first event. But he's out of this. Very strange indeed. Not sure what happened. Let's just see what we can see from his point of view. So go back through the field. There's Fellows, Wilson, Botnarenko. Botnarenko is now the first driver not 1 lap down. Lenonen, Torborg. Torborg now up to 14th, so he's just keeping it on the track, of course. I feel he's not got the speed here today. And we're off the track there was Reece Gardner, was it not? Let's go back to him. Looked like Reece Gardner to me from here. And he's lost the back end of his car. What's happened to him? Oh, he's just gone too deep into a corner and hit it with his back end, I think. But anyway, more damage there for Reece Gardner. Keeping out of the way. Oh, he's got a very bent car. Look at that. The whole side of the car is caved in. Not sure what happened there. The driver's not able to keep out of the walls here, it seems. You cannot drive at 100% here at this race. You have to drive within your abilities. If your capabilities mean you can't win the race, well, so be it. You have to finish these races. 13th is Roding. 12th is Wang. 11th is Egbeer. 10th is Andrew Smick. 9th is Tim Brook still. 8th is Steve Davis' teammate, but there's a big gap now to Steve Davis and Tim Brook. 8th is Schlemo. 6th is Nelson. 5th is Leitner. 4th is Matt Farrow. And that means Fangman has got past Matt Farrow for that third position. So that's how you should do it. Fanman just toiled away patiently at the back of Matt Farrow, waited for a mistake and took the position. And now he has his reward. He has that third position, but Farrow got a good run through there. He's going to try and make it move at turn 9. Oh, it's very close. They both run very deep, side-by-side contact. They both just about survive. Second place is still Ben Crooks, and first, of course, is still Florian Strauss. That gap is still between 2.5 to 3 seconds. Keeping it very steady indeed. Crooks is keeping Strauss very honest. This is the biggest battle on track at the moment for the highest positions. Fanman versus Crooks. As you come through turn 1, 2 and 3. Float it through there. And Steve Davis has got past Tobias Slamo. Sort of saw some movement on the leaderboard, and I did. And here is where it happened. Coming down towards turn 1, 2 and 3. Slamo had a big gap at that point. And we've got a bit of lag just where we want to see the pass, of course, which is just absolutely typical. And we can't see the pass, so obviously Slamo's made a mistake through turn 1, 2 and 3 complex, and Steve Davis is nipped through. So Steve up to 7th from 12th on the grid. Anders Nielsen is in 6th. Another solid run from him. He finished in 8th position in the first race. Fifth is Leitner, still very solid indeed, and he's very, very close actually now to Farrow and Fangman. Perhaps Farrow and Fangman, they're a little bit battling. Oh, Leitner's very deep under brakes, and Farrow's out of shape on the brakes as well, but they're all A-OK through there. So Fangman just opened up a little bit of a gap now to Farrow, or trying to at least, to kick up the dust. Coming out of turn 11. Now into turn 12. Jumping over those curbs. Yet to get to our first pit stops, of course, and plenty of action already in this race. And now Fanman seems like he's pulling away from this battle between Farrow and Leitner. Nielsen just in the background keeping a watching brief, so this is very interesting indeed. The yo-yo of the drivers at the start of the race. Farrow looked very quick at the start. Perhaps has burned up his tyres with that small spin he had. Damaged them, of course. It's very difficult to get the tyres back down to temperature once again. Now Farrow's opened up a gap on Leitner. Nielsen looking for any scraps that will fall from the table. Driving for Swecos. Leitner driving for independently this season. Fourth is Matt Farrow, who's driving for GT Omega. And third is Mark Fanman driving for Motorsport for All Berlin Race Crew. But 5 retirements from this race. Vinatea, an accident. Yari Venari, a disconnect. Yuri Braham, an accident also, I think. Hardwick, a disconnect. And the grief, of course, with the problems that we saw on the broadcast. Now Fanman has a big lead over Matt Farrow. He's really looked after his tyres in this stint, I see, as Steve Davis comes into the pits on lap 19. Makes his pit stop, and Tim Brook also as well. Through turn 8 they come. So where's that left? Tim Brook and Steve Davis. They're in 13th and 14th now, just in behind Jesper Torborg. Lenonen is into the pits also. Into the pits comes Ben Crooks. So Antonio again to the pits once again. We have lots of pit stops here today. But Ben Crooks into the pits. So second place. And coming to a stop. So lap 20 they've just about got to. Lap 26 is where they wanted to get to for a two-stopper. Well, Fanman is into the pits as well, I believe. Oh, no, he's not. Fanman has carried on. Leitner is also carrying on. Got out of shape through there, though. Lost lots of ground. It's quite a few seconds. As Ben Crooks pits and comes back out again. A 14-second pit stop. Could have been a bit faster, but not too bad. Schmidt goes through into 5th now because Farrow's pitted. And Nielsen, and Egbeer, and Tobias Schlemo. It's all really rustling up the order here. There is Tobias Schlemo. Coming out of the pits. Has he come out ahead of Anders Nielsen? He has indeed come out ahead of Anders Nielsen. Not sure how he's done that. Nielsen just comes into turn 1, 2 and 3, and there goes Schlemo going through turn 2 and 3. So, and Nielsen coming out ahead of Brook, but Davis is ahead of Schlemo. Not sure what happened to Nielsen there then. Didn't seem like a terribly long stop. But anyway, that's how it works out as Steve Davis goes up the inside of James Johnson to put a lap on him, of course. Here is Jesper Torborg in 9th position, still has not pitted. So despite his lack of speed, he's making this fuel last quite a while. Here's Trendren Wang, he's in 8th position at the moment. Strauss has pitted and he's now coming out of the pits. So that means Leitner has taken the lead of this race. Fanman into the pits as well. Crooks is coming around also. There comes Strauss out of the pits. Here comes Crooks now down the straight. On the inside is James Fellows going to slow up. Strauss, as over the curves goes Fellows. He's getting out of the way. Oh, it's so close between the leaders now. Fellows just come out at an awkward spot, really. And now Crooks is side by side with Strauss. On board with Strauss, looking back at Ben Crooks. Looking back very close at Ben Crooks. We didn't need to see quite that close to your car, Ben. Through turn 6 and now turn 7. If you can get a good run through here, he might have a chance. He's got warm tyres, of course, but Strauss is still coming up to temperature. Roding's coming into the pits. So he's pitted. Leitner is in the lead of this race. On lap 21. Through turn 8 they come. Does Florian have the confidence? Crooks gains very slightly through there. And now Crooks on the brakes, of course, the concertina effect. But it looks like Strauss has the position now. Held up by a back marker, of course, and lost the gap that he had. The drivers have to deal with these things on track. And Schmick is in 4th. He's not pitted. Looked like he had a bit of a mistake there, but got away with it. Leitner's into the pits. So lap 21 Leitner's got to, so he may have a shorter pit stop at the end, of course, as well. So that could help him. The gap is now down to just a half a second between Crooks and Strauss as a result of that back marker. That was James Fellows, just caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time, really. Nobody's fault. Schmick has still not pitted. He could go to lap 22, at least, at the moment. Farrow is now up into 4th, back ahead of Fangman. So Farrow's had a good pit stop once again. Oh! And Fangman, far too aggressive through turn 1, 2, and 3. Almost loses it. Just got ahead of Leitner, though. Here is Leitner. Trindra Wang has not pitted also. Steve Davis is very close now to these drivers. Jesper Torborg has pitted and rejoined. Was rejoining, I think, about 13th position. Should come out ahead of Ike Rodin, just about. They're going to be very close as we come out the pits, just watching that off screen at the moment. No, Jesper Torborg has just about been passed by Ike Rodin. Up the inside also has gone Reese Gardner on Torborg, with his lap down. So Ike Rodin and Jesper Torborg are now very close together. But after the pit stops have cycled through, we'll see a much clearer picture. We're still waiting for Schmick and Wang of the fronters to make their pit stops. And Strauss has immediately opened up that 1 second gap to Crooks. So perhaps he's just managing that yes, he was just managing the gap in that first sector of the race, because now he just set a 19.6, a superb lap there from Florian Strauss. Nobody else has gone below the 20s in this race. Third still is Schmick, is still not pitted. How on earth is he going this long? Done 22 laps now on this fuel. Maybe he can make it last. He's get to about lap 26. He's 26 laps before he can. So if he can pit at the end of lap 25, he'll be laughing. But Matt Farrow is in 4th position. He's got a big gap now to Mark Fanman. Not sure what happened in the pit stops there. But Juanzhen Wang has pitted. The top 8 is almost cleansed. Schmick, of course, will drop back below the top 8, I would presume. Leitner now is pursuing Mark Fanman. Steve Davis is much closer to that battle now as a result of the pit stops. Schlemo is in 8th. Tim Brook is now in 10th, so he's quite a way behind where I would expect him to be. Like maybe 11th. So he'll be challenged by Schmick, I think, for that 10th position. Ike Rodin in 12th. Tallborg now in 13th. Juanzhen Wang has come out of the pits now. Wilson has also come out of the pits. More damage, I would presume, as Lenonen comes through. So lap 24. Has Schmick pitted yet? Schmick has pitted, so on lap 24, Schmick comes into the pits. If he can do that, he can have a very short final stint, a very short fill on the fuel, of course, as well. And out of the pits he comes, but of course it's a very, very slow pit lane. We passed by. There goes Steve Davis. Here comes Adam McBeer next as well. Tim Brooks already passed him. And going to be close between him and Ike Roding, I believe. Oh no, Ike is coming down to the final corner. So Schmick rejoins in 11th position behind Adam Egbeer. So still 5 retirees at the moment. Here is Steve Davis pursuing Norbert Leitner, who's pursuing Mark Fanman. Look at this. Go on board with Leitner now through turn 8. This is how close these drivers race. So close. He's got a great run through there as well. On the brakes, down into the hairpin. Up the inside goes Leitner. Of course, you can go too wide through here. Gets the power down. Can he just nip ahead of Fanman? He can just nip ahead of Fanman. Cuts across into turn 10 and now through turn 11. Superb stuff there from Norbert Leitner. A great pass. And he moves up to 4th position on the track after finishing 6th in the first race. Now he starts to pull away from Fangman as well, so maybe he's just got more speed in this sector of the race even. And Ben Crooks is now 1.8 seconds behind Florian Strauss, so Strauss has really got this under the utmost control. But any mistake that Strauss makes, and Crooks is right there, and Skaustein just about gets out of the way of everybody through into turn 9. Here is Farrow, he's in 3rd position. Dobbins just made a pit stop. He will rejoin in a 21st position, fighting with Nikola Ilovanov for that position. Steve Davis still in 6th. 7th is still Schlemo. 8th is Nielsen. 9th is Tim Brooks. Final battle for you here. 10th is Egby. 11th is Schmick. 12th is Roding. And in 13th is Jesper Tolborg. And this is a battle on track. Jesper Tolborg pursuing Ike Roding, not having the best of times. Jesper, accustomed to being at the front of the field, but way down in the midfield at the moment. But he's started 14th, dropped to 20th in the opening couple of laps, now back up to 13th position, showing much more race pace than qualifying pace as Roding goes very deep on the brakes, just about gets it slowed down. Won't be helping his tyres. Again locking up. Let's just go quiet here and we'll ride with Jesper Tolborg for a lap of this beautiful Adelaide street circuit as he pursues Roding for that 12th position. Enjoy the ride. And that was lap of Adelaide Street Circuit with Jesper Toll when we were on board with him while he made a great pass on Ike Road. He got the run through here, turn 1, 2 and 3. Got on the outside for turn 4, stuck it around the outside, then the inside for turn 5, and still on the outside for turn 6. Just about gave the move stick in the end and pulled away very rapidly indeed down the straight. Now Roddy is back with him again. Next on Tolborg's list is Schwick, but he's 15 seconds up the road. Here is Andrew Schmick, the German, just about getting it turned in for the fearsome turn 8 there. 10th is Agda Megbe, another solid run for him. He qualified 17th in the last race and finished in 15th. 9th is Tim Brook. 8th is Anders Nielsen still. 7th is Tobias Schlemo. He's been very quietly moving up through the order. Always been hovering around the top 10 most of the race. And now is in a very solid 7th. 6th is Steve Davis. 5th is Mark Famman. He's dropped a bunch of time to Leitner and Farrow. Leitner is on an absolute charge here, trying to catch up to Matt Farrow in that final podium position. 21s on the last few laps for Leitner. 25 on lap 26 for Matt Farrow, so he's made a mistake somewhere, and that's allowed, of course, Leitner to catch him right up. Matt's made plenty of mistakes here, but managed to get away with most of them. Very jammy indeed. Crooks is still 2 seconds behind Florian Strauss. Strauss looks like he's just managing that gap and flexing his muscle whenever he needs to. But look at this traffic here for Ben Crooks. Right in the middle of a pack of cars. There's Gardner, Fellows, and I think Dobbing in the background. Here is Johnson. Looks like one of the Raptor cars just up ahead as well. Who is that? There's, must be Schlemo. Oh, that's of course Strauss, of course. And must be Hardwick, I think. They're just lapping. Oh, Hardwick's out the race, of course, isn't he? Sorry. My mistake. It must be Wang they're about to lap, and Wang just gets out of the way and lets them go through. Bit of a strange place to let them go through. It wasn't the brightest idea just there. Compromised himself quite a lot, but Crooks has gained on Strauss as a result of that. Very slightly. Here's Farrow and Leitner. This is the next big battle brewing on track. Leitner's on an absolute charge. Best of the 4 drivers here today, by far. Next best 4 driver is Anders Nielsen. Leitner finished in 6th position at the first race, qualified 10th, but had a very solid race once again, and he's done the same here. Qualified a bit further down, but has moved his way very well through the field. A great racer. And that's where the points are awarded. So that's what you want to be. No point in qualifying well if you can't race. According to Miguel Venetea, he had an accident because his screen turned off. So very unfortunate for him. That's the explanation for his accident. Caused him to retire from the race, the first retiree of this race. So he will get 0 points, of course. Mike's just lost a little bit of ground now to Farrow. Crooks can't quite seem to match the pace of Strauss once Strauss gets into a rhythm. Strauss is managing that gap extremely well, but Crooks is keeping it honest, of course. If Strauss makes any kind of mistake, Crooks will be straight through. It will be an uncharacteristic flow to make that sort of mistake. 2.2 seconds the gap now. Here is Farrow and Leitner coming down towards turn 4, clipping the curb on entry just to turn the car in. This is as much of the track as possible. Davis is catching up to Fangman. 7th is still Schlemer, 8th is still Anders Nielsen, 9th is still Brooksy. Egbeer, Schmick, Tolborg, Roding, Wang, Wilson and Leinonen. Antonio into the pits again. Not sure what on earth is going on there with Philip Antonio, but that's been the 4th pit stop I think that I've seen. And he's 25th and three laps down, the last of the runners. Two other people that are also 3 laps down, Gardner and Skalstad. As leaders just lap Skalstad now. Two laps down are Ilivanov, Kapal, Fellows, Dobbing and Johnson. So it just really is just need to keep the car out of the wall and keep it nice and consistent instead of crashing all over the place, and you'll just do fine. Instead they're all 1 lap and 2 laps down, which is not really good enough. Of course, some drivers may have been involved in accidents not of their own making. Sometimes you do make your own luck. Schlemer and Nielsen are now very close indeed. There's Brook in behind as well, so there's a 3-car battle for 7th position. Running wide over those curbs, using more of the track. Really quite smooth over those curbs, so he can't just chuck it over them because the car will be thrown across. Track's very hot today as well, 36 degrees on track. That won't be helping the tyre temperatures. All the tyre wear, all drivers' tempers. Tempers will be flaring. The top 12 or 15 drivers have done a very solid job here today. Because these cars are quite new to them. The model's only been out around about 6, 7, 8 weeks. It's a very, very difficult event for just the 2nd event of the season. The next event we go to is at Melbourne on the 11th of June. A 200-kilometre race there. They will be allowed to use sprint tyres if they choose to do so. Then to round 4 we go to Barbagallo Raceway. As you see just off camera there, Kapal make a mistake down at the hairpin. And Nelson is now really putting the pressure on Tobias Schlemer. On board with Nielsen. And Leitner's made a mistake because he's back to 5th position. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him. And he's battling with Steve Davis as a result as well. Steve all over the back of the Hungarian. There's damage on the front of Leitner's car. Big dent in the front bumper. You just see it there. See if Steve can take advantage of the damaged and wounded animal that is Leitner. See if we can see in replay exactly what happened here. Probably won't be able to go back far enough in the replay. It's happened further back in the lap, that's for sure. A lot further back in the lap. Oh, he's made a mistake down at turn 4. I think he's outbraked himself at turn 4 and gone straight ahead. And that's why he's now dropped back behind Fangman, and it's in between Fangman and Davis now. I think Fangman made a small mistake as well, perhaps. So that's released Matt Farrow from the pressure that Leitner was putting him under. And Leitner having a great run here as it's all come to an abrupt end at the moment. Back to the battle with Schlemer, Nielsen and Brook. Here we are, Skalstad gets out of shape in the background. Lap 35 now, around about another 10, around about another 5, 6, 7 laps before everyone starts making their second round of pit stops, and Leitner was in such a good position as well for those pit stop strategy. He got up to third position almost ahead of Matt Farrow, and he was challenging for that, and he had a better pit strategy it seemed, because he was going to have a shorter fill on the second stint as Nielsen gets out of shape to turn 1, 2 and 3. That's lost him ground to Tobias Schlemo, but it allows, of course, Tim Brook onto him. As Tim gets out of shape in the background, almost losing it. And Brook lost ground as a result of those couple of mistakes during that lap. Nielsen catches back up to Schlemo once again. Davies seems to have dropped back off the back of Leitner. He goes onto the grass also as well, just about kept it on track. Don't go onto grass there. A long way before we get back on track again. And now the gap between Strauss and Crooks is 4 seconds. And of course now there is Leitner trying to catch up to Fanman once again. Get his position back. He lost about 5, 6 seconds altogether in that mistake. I think Farrow's made Farrow's made another mistake as well. He's only about 31 seconds behind the leaders a couple of laps ago, now 38 seconds behind. So apart from Strauss and Crooks, it all seems... Strauss has made a mistake. I was just about to say, apart from Strauss and Crooks, no one's made a mistake. And Strauss has made a mistake. What on earth has happened? Let's go back to the replay. It's put the power on too hard coming out of the hairpin. It's shot him across the track and he's whacked the wall on the inside. And he's had to pit. He's had to pit early. This still allows him to keep a two-stroke strategy. The fact that it puts Crooks into the lead, and Strauss had such a comfortable margin. Oh, what on earth has happened? Really a very silly mistake there from Florian. Uncharacteristic, really. And here comes Matt Farrow around the final turn. Will he take the position away from Strauss? I don't think he will, because Strauss is about to exit the pits right now. And Farrow comes along this pit line. And here comes Farrow up the inside of Strauss. Sandwiched between them is Jesper Torborg. Strauss has to bump over the curbs, of course. Keep out of the way. And there's Torborg in the background getting out of shape as well. Nudges the wall. So Strauss back into lots and lots of traffic. Here is Fanman in 4th, Leitner in 5th. Steve Davis has pitted, so he's out of all this mess, and he can keep his nose very clean indeed. Leitner is in behind, of course, this. Nielsen's got past Schlemo, so we missed that off camera somewhere. So the 360 Racing team not in a good position at the moment. both lost positions. Of course, Strauss losing lots and lots of ground, lost about, let's say, around about 15 seconds altogether. I would guess pit stops around about 25 seconds normally. Right, Roddy's coming to the pits as well. Here is now Leitner and Fangman in fourth, Strauss in third. There's Kapal off the track. Here is Wang just about getting out of the way of Farrow and Strauss. Strauss got the run now on Matt Farrow, coming down to turn 1, 2 and 3. Farrow just taking the middle of the road, making sure he can't get through. He can't really pass into there unless you're completely alongside. Difficult as it is, as Farrow makes a mistake, runs over the curb on the outside and through goes Strauss back into second position. So Strauss trying to make up for that big mistake that he made. Nielsen has pitted, Brook has pitted from 7th and 8th. So here is Farrow, our race one winner in third position. Fanman just behind. Roddy just getting out the way of his teammate. Will he hold up Leitner in the process? He doesn't. He's quite polite about that. He's fighting with Wang, of course, for that position. Topog was fighting with them, but he saw that big mistake while he was being lapped by these two guys. Well, it was 3 wide. Topog into the pits as well. John Wilson made his way back up to 12th position. Tim Brook 11th. 10th is Nielsen. 9th is Steve Davis after pitting, of course. 8th is Andrew Schmick. He was last of the pit last time around. 7th is Egbeer. 6th is Tobias Schlemo. 5th is Mark Fangman. And into the pits comes Leitner. Leitner going for a shorter pit stop this time around, perhaps to repair a little bit of that damage. Also Farrow into the pits. Crooks is still going around the track. Here is Strauss in second position. Here is Crooks on lap 40, the leader of the race. Won 3 races in the World Touring Masters, recent World Touring Masters season. Came second in the championship overall. The double race winner in V8's World V8 Supercars 2010 season. He gets out of shape into the pits, holds onto it though. And he's looking for a 3rd win in his World V8 Supercars career. And the 6th win of his TouringProSeries career. And Strauss is coming around the hairpin now. Crooks will come out very comfortably ahead of his German rival. 3rd is Mark Fanman. 4th is Matt Farrow after making his pit stop. 5th is Leitner after making the pit stop. Not very far behind either. 6th is still Schmick, still going round, still not pitted. 7th is Steve Davis. 8th is Tobias Schlemo. 9th is Anders Nielsen. This battle has really come straight back together once again. They've had the pit stops, come back out again, and still together. Anders Nielsen, of course, well known for his raw steel and sex appeal, driving in the Holden in the World Touring Masters. He gets a great run through there. Will he make a move up the inside of Tobias Schlemo under braking? He looks like he's going to do so. Tobias gives him plenty of room, as he should. And he runs over the curb on the outside. Now his task is to stay ahead of Tim Brook, and he does. Tim Brook gives him plenty of room. Little look up the inside just to unsettle him. Not an actual look for position. And 8th place now is Anders Nielsen. The net 7th overall once Andrew Schmidt comes into the pits, who is still not pitted. Matt Fanman has pitted. Here's Leitner now. Matt Fanman's leaving the pits, and through goes Leitner and Steve Davis. So Fanman's lost lots of time there on either its in lap or in the pits. And he's now dropped way back behind Leitner and Davis. He was ahead of Leitner before that. But now Strauss is just 0.3 behind Ben Crooks. What on earth is going on here? Ben Crooks has had a very slow lap somewhere. Of course, he has just pitted, but Strauss had to repair his car and had a longer pit stop. I'm not quite sure how Strauss has managed that, but Strauss is back into second position. Yes, Crooks has had a slow out lap, I think. Nothing particularly special from Strauss, I don't think. Strauss doing 21.5, 20.4 the lap before, so Nothing particularly special, but Strauss is still in with a chance to win this race. Goes very deep into there, but actually not quite as out of control as I thought he was. Damn him. Third place is Matt Farrow. Yes, I believe Crooks had a 1 minute lead, I think, over Farrow. Now it's on to 35 seconds, so definitely made a mistake somewhere. Matt Farrow in third. Fourth is Norbert Leitner, pursuing Matt Farrow once again. Looked like he was going to overtake him before his accident, well, his mistake at least. Fifth is Andrew Schmick, being pursued by Steve Davis. Andrew Schmick still not pitted, of course. He pitted on lap 23 last time around. Oh, Steve on the inside! That's going to end in tears. Oh, dear. So close to a big accident there between those two. Steve had a look, then kind of almost left himself with no option but to have a proper look. And now Anders Nielsen is catching up to Fangman. This is a big battle here between Schmick, Davis, Fangman, Nielsen. Just in behind there is Schlemo and Brook. The battle for lead still goes on. Crooks is still ahead of Strauss. This battle rages on. And Schmick will be on, of course, old tyres. Won't be as fast as these guys, but he would be lighter on fuel, of course. As they come round line astern, so close within these four drivers. As Davis catches right up to Schmick in the corner. Schmick still not pitting, of course. He won't pit for another couple of laps. Perhaps the fan man just gives the back of Davis a bit of a tap. Can Niels take advantage? No, he can't. Not quite. As he comes now down towards turn 1, 2 and 3. Shooting through there, sideways Schmick through there. Great shot as they come flying through there. Into turn 4. Schmick's locked up. Schmick is locked up. Davis is going to try and squeeze through. Schmick just about holding on to that position. But it's going to be a matter of time. We should really let these guys go. Holding himself up. Davis, Fangman, Nielsen. There's Schlemo, there's Brook. And way back is Egbeer. So it's this battle here, 6-car battle. Unbelievable stuff here, really. As they come up to turn 8. Fly outside the camera. Schmick hits the wall on the outside slightly. Can Davis make a move up the inside? He can. Davis makes a move up the inside. Oh, Fangman hits Davis. It spins around. He spun himself. Fangman has spun. Gets back going again, but he's lost positions. He's lost positions to Nielsen, Schlemo, and Brook. Oh, what a shame there for Fangman. He's been running in 4th and 5th for much of the race. Now he's way back down to 10. Of course, it's a 9th overall once Schmick pits, but Davis has been released. Davis is patient and waiting for the right opportunity. Despite the bit of contact, Schmick gets out of shape on those old tyres. He needs to pit really this lap. He's losing too much ground. Schmick gets out of shape. Through goes Nielsen. Schlemo and Brook will be next on the card to go through for him. But the battle at the front of the field is between Leitner and Farrow and Strauss and Crooks. As Crooks and Strauss very sideways coming out of turn 11 down to turn 12. Bump over the curb, get it straight for the braking zone for turn 13. Still 34 laps to go here, so there's not too much hurry to go get past each other, sorry. You couldn't have told that from Davis, Nielsen, Schmick, Schlemo, Brook and Fangman's battle, of course. But it's great for us to watch. As Crooks is now under increasing pressure from his German rival. A bit of damage there to the side of the car. That's where he's gone off, isn't it? He's gone off into a tyre barrier somewhere and clipped the side of the car. There it is. So even the great drivers are having difficulty keeping on the road. There is Florian Strauss. Through turn 8 we're going to go. Strauss getting ever so close. Had to back out of it there. I thought he was almost going to hit the back of the 3ID FCR driver. Ben Crooks' teammate Jesper Torborg is in 17th position. So he's involved in a big battle with fellows as well. He's now 2 laps down, Torborg. Not sure what's happened to him. But anyway, back at the front of the field, here we are. Kapal, Gardner, Johnson and Botnarenko have all retired from the race. So from the 30 starters, we're down to 21 runners. And drivers must complete 75% of the race to score any points at all. You do get points just for finishing last in the top division. You get 30 points for that. You still have to complete 75% of the race. And of course they have not done so. Strauss all over the back of Ben Crooks. It's England versus Germany at the front. Holden versus Holden. 360 Racing versus 3ID FCR. Strauss just pulls out just to unsettle, I think, Crooks into turn 8, but it'll take more than that. There's a great run through there. Strauss has got. Will he make a move up the inside down into turn 9? Crooks covers ever so slightly. Up the inside is Strauss. Crooks needs to give him a bit more room. Side by side, both of them. Strauss gets out of shape. That was a bit naughty there from Crooks. He turned in very, very early indeed. He knew that Strauss was up alongside and he needs to give a bit more room. But Strauss has got back going once again. I'm not sure if Strauss will be so polite next time they come to a duel like that. He'll just push Crooks out of the way, like Crooks did to him. So, 31 laps to go. Crooks, Strauss, Leitner, Farrow, Davis, Nielsen, Slamo and Brook. Schmidt once he appeared to rejoined in 11th position. Really interfering with these guys. Leitner's got past Farrow. Here we are. Leitner's got past Farrow. So Leitner's onto the podium position. Finally. Here is Davis and Nielsen. Been close together all the race. Here's Slamo and Brook. And there's Fanman recovering, of course, from his mistake at the hairpin. Two leaders still duke it out. Got a 40-second gap back to Leitner and Farrow. This is for the lead of the race. Crooks very out of shape coming out of the hairpin there at turn 13. Didn't look like he get the power down for a long time out of there. And misses the apex really at turn 1. Now Strauss is coming up to him. Gap's down to 0.4. Strauss definitely has the pace. Depends whether he can just get past Crooks, who's been very resilient at defending. A little bit past fair, I think. But no harm came of it in the end. See what happens next time Strauss has a go. Because he does look like when, not if, at the moment. First driver a lap down now is Andreas Schmidt. As Strauss gets a run through turn 8 once again, he looks out under braking at turn 9, but not close enough. And Crooks knew that. So did Strauss, of course. Just more to unsettle his rival rather than anything else. And he's so close. He's so much quicker through the second half of the circuit. He gets out of shape in behind Crooks also as well, but he gets a great run out of the corner still. And they're nose to tail once again. It's a fascinating battle for the win. If Crooks stays where he is, I think he will be in the lead of the championship. Yes, he will, because Farrow's in 4th. Crooks will have a 1st and a 3rd. Farrow will have a 1st and a 4th. As in the background we see Wang just clipping the wall at turn 8. Strauss has lost a little bit of ground to Crooks now. This is the sector where Strauss seems to be so quick. His final sector, so he seems to be able to break the car on the curve when turning a little bit better than everybody else here today. Farrell's got back past Leitner for that third position, so Leitner's not making it easy for himself. He keeps getting up there and taking it and then losing it again. Not sure where this happened. See if we can see. No, we're not going to be able to see. Oh, I think, yeah, here we are. Leitner was a bit slow, I think, through turn 1, 2 and 3, and Farrell got back past him there, so unfortunately we can't see it on the replay as much as we'd like to. Steve Davis in 5th, Anders Nielsen just behind him in 6th. These drivers very close together. Oh, who was that? Was that Tim Brook out of shape? It was indeed Tim Brook out of shape. What on earth happened there? Coming down into turn 9, looking up the inside of Schlemo, bit far back for it, realised and nailed the back of Schlemo. No damage in the end. Dobbin caught up in it as well, the poor guy. Just getting out of the way on these two that are squabbling. 9th is Adam Egbeer, where Mark Fanman's out of the race. What on earth happened to him? Mark Fanman is out of the race, coming up as a DNF. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but Mark Fanman has been running so well, running the top 5 all the race. Of course, dropped to 9th position after his small mistake. Was still within touching distance of 5th place, and now he's out of the race. What a shame for him. So Egbeer 9th. Now Andrew Smick is into the top 10. Wilson is knocking on the door of the top 10 also as well now. Roding 12th, 13th Lennon, 14th Wang, 15th will now be Tolborg. Very lonely 15th as well. He's actually a lap behind 12th place Roding. So some very poor driving here today. Top drivers were keeping out of the wall a bit better than that. That's off the track. Goes Tim Brook once again, very deep. There's poor Jeff Dobbing. He was always involved with that at turn 9. Poor guy. Anders Nielsen 6th, Steve Davis 5th, Leitner still 4th, Farrow still 5th, Strauss, of course, still fighting with Crooks for that win. Ilovanov into the pits. Another 10, 15 laps or so before we see more pit stop. Was that Skalstad in the background? It was Skalstad in the background going off. Fellows has made his pit stop. I'm not sure we'll get to the end with that, so must have had some damage. Cook seems to be in a bit of a better rhythm than Strauss at the moment. Perhaps Strauss burned up his tyres slightly while battling, trying to get past Crooks. Crooks looks a bit smoother these last couple of laps, keeping that gap around about a second. Skalstad is now 5 laps down on the leader. Antonio 4 laps down after I think he's made 4 pit stops here today, which wouldn't have helped anything at all. And Ilovanov is 3 laps down in 19th position, but still going, of course, which is crucial because you just score points just for finishing in this. And with the amount of drivers that have dropped out, you're going to score a hefty amount of points. Guaranteed, just by keeping going. That's what some drivers just don't seem to be able to understand. But there you go. Those who don't understand lose out to those who do understand. Strauss now 1.3 seconds behind Ben Crooks. Much smoother through there this time around than last lap. Leitner and Farrow are still battling for that third position, but not quite close enough. There's Antonia. Looks like with some damage to his car, lots of damage to his car, the back end, the front end. Scousted into the pits again. Won't be able to get to the end on that. The pit window opens around about lap 56 or 57 before you can make your final pit stop. Strauss losing more ground now to Crooks. Looks like he's having a bit of difficulty with his brakes. His brake lights keep lighting up coming through. Let's take a close look at that. That's just the way the car was reflecting. Stay looking at these rear lights. I think he may have a problem with his brakes. Brakes coming on in the middle of the straights, it seemed like, coming out of the hairpin. Just tapping the brake through there. Tapping the brake. Yeah, he's just catching his brake, I think. Maybe just for confidence. With brake, I'm not sure what's happening there. He's not flashing his lights. I know that. There's no glow up ahead, but he's catching Crooks, whatever the problem is. And going into the pits once again. It's his 5th pit stop of today. Let's catch up with this battle between Farrow and Leitner. It's actually just jumped away from each other just as I come to the battle, of course, typically. But not far behind this group is Steve Davis, these two drivers. There he is, just 4 seconds back, well, less than 4 seconds back from this battle for this third position. And he only qualified in 12th, he's now up to 5th. Very, very happy with that. 6th is Nielsen. 7th is Strauss's teammate Tobias Slamo. 8th is Tim Brook, 405 Motorsport. So in terms of the Teams Championship, at the moment it seems like 05 Motorsport have the biggest haul of points in this race at the moment. Oh no, 360 Racing perhaps. No, 360 Racing will have the biggest haul of points from this round as it currently stands. 3ID FCR are leading the Team Championship tables at the moment after their 3rd and 5th at the first race. They've got a 1st and a 15th at the moment. So they will not pick up quite as many points. Of course, Crooks will help that with his 1st position. And then Strauss and Schlemo are 2nd and 7th, so they'll pick up a nice haul of points with Davis and Brook 5th and 8th. Farrow and Nielsen's teammates are in server 2s. Not sure where exactly they are on track. I said that Teo Bubicic is out of the race. He's Matt Farrow's teammate, so he won't be scoring any points towards the championship. But Lennon is still going, and his teammates to Nielsen, so he may score some points. Matt Clark qualified on pole position for the Division 2 race, alongside Emilio Rodriguez. Nielsen and Davis close together. There is Matt Farrow dropped behind Leitner once again. We keep missing this. Whenever these two pass each other, we miss it. So let's go back and see if we can see where this happened. While I was telling you about... Well, Leitner still ahead of Farrow already by that point. I'm not going to be able to see it. Happens around the middle part of the track at some point. Here is Florian Strauss pursuing Ben Crooks still. But there's still one more pit to go. And still just over 20 laps to go as well. As Steve Davis and Tobias Schlemmer. Steve Davis has made a mistake. What's happened? Oh, what's happened? There's a big accident here. What's going on? Let's catch that on the replay if we can. Be nice if we can. Here comes Schlemmer. He's just gone off the track. I wish we could see. Much nicer we could see, wouldn't it? Anyway, Tim Brook is now 7th. Schlemmer's down to 8th. Nielsen's up to 5th. Davis down to 6th. So something. Oh, there's Nielsen, still going in 5th position. Davis is 6th. So Davis has made a mistake somewhere, I think, and so has Schlemmer at the same time. Because he's dropped back a position also, dropped the position to Brook. Nielsen's picked up 1, Brook's picked up 1, Davis and Schlemmer dropped 1. Not sure what's going on between those drivers there. All seem to happen at the same time, but Strauss is getting ever closer to the back of Ben Crooks. Into turn 11, and out of it once again. And for his turn 12, bump over the curb, throw it, slow down, slow as you can, that's what happens. You get the grass on the outside and just send your car into a bit of a spin, a bit of a slide at least. Looks great, entertaining for us, but not amusing or fast for the drivers. Andrew Schmick is out of the race as well, another DNF. Not sure what's happened to him. So for the DNF, so we're down to just 19 runners now. And Philip Trotter comes into the pits once again. What on earth is going on with him? Not the 20th pit stop today for Philip Antonia. I think he's been into the pits 6 times. And as such, he is the last of the runners, 6 laps down. As the leader is now lap 9th position, Adam Egbeer. Into turn 8 they go. On board with Strauss, who finished 7th at Yas Marina after dropping back way down the field after the early incident involving himself. Oh, he just about got it slowed down for the pits then. Almost went right off the track, but he's into the pits. So this is the final pit stop of the race for Florian Strauss on lap 59. Lap 58 for him. He's not quite across the line, of course, yet. Ike Rodin is also pitted. There he is. He's just leaving the pits now. A long pit stop for him, so must have had plenty of damage. So Light is still in 3rd. He won't pass Strauss for that 2nd position. So Strauss comes out of the pits now. Now he's going to get the hammer down when he comes out of the pits and get a good outlap on the fresh tyres. He'll have warm tyres as well if he gets close to Crooks. So it's going to be all crucial. Light, the Farrow's off. Farrow's spanning the same place as he did earlier in the race. And Nielsen just trying to make his way through. Farrow spins it around, just about keeps it out of the wall. Here comes Steve Davis. Can Steve Davis take advantage? He's got the momentum. Can he go up the inside? Oh, he can! Contact! Oh, they're both off the track. Steve Davis not messing around there. Decided, I'm coming through, out of the way. Don't care if you're the championship leader or the race 1 winner. That's my position as Nielsen comes into the pits. So Steve Davis goes up to 3rd. Light is into the pits. Brook does not pit. There is Leitner. There is Nielsen, and there is Matt Farrow, just coming into his pit stop now. Tobias Schlemmer goes through and takes the position as a result. Out of the pits comes Nielsen. Egbeer goes through as well. Where is Farrow? Farrow's still in the pits. Lost an awful lot of time. As in the pits comes the leader, of course. Ben Crooks covering off the move of Florian Strauss. Here is Florian. There is Ben Crooks coming to a stop, and he will be away in a few seconds. And away he goes. There goes Ben Crooks. Here comes Florian Strauss, going to be very close indeed. Down the straight corner, Florian takes the lead of the race. A superb outlap that must have been, because he's got a huge gap to Ben Crooks by pitting that lap earlier. Not sure how on earth he did that, but he did it, he did. Did it, he did. If that makes sense. And Strauss is back into the lead of this race after losing it. Trying so hard to get it back again as he puts a lap on JJ Wang. So Strauss leads. Crooks is in second. Steve Davis pits from third position. Fourth is Tobias Schlemo. Gets it slowed down for the entry. In he comes. Leitner will go through and take that fourth position back away again. He'll go up to third, of course, and now a comfortable third after Farrow's mistake. And Brook has got past Farrow as well as a result of all that, I think. Schlemo's there. Steve Davis is still in the... Egbear's into the pits. Davis is leaving the pits now. Nielsen comes through and takes the position away from Davis. Looks like Nielsen's got a big gap on Davis actually as well. Through goes John Wilson. He needs to pit. And yeah, Davis has lost out to Farrow also. So a slow pit stop or a slow in-lap there for Davis. And he's lost position to Farrow. And lost lots of grounds to Nielsen as well. Tobias Schlemo comes through. In ninth is... That's not Tim Brook. That's, of course, Adam Egbear, who has pitted, and they come out ahead of Tim Brook. What's going on? Some very slow pit stops here. Some of the Lenonan is the first of the drivers a lap down. No, Tim Brook is a lap down now in 10th position, so he's had a slow pit stop. Not quite sure what happened there. But anyway, he's back to that position. JJ Wang comes into the pits as well. Egbear 9th. Brook in 10th. 19 runners in this race still. Steve Davis is 7th. Matt Farrow in 6th. Wilson still needs to pit. He's in 5th. But he's recovered from his early going. As I say that, he almost shoots straight into the wall. And he's still going round. He's not pitting just yet. Nielsen is now in 4th position. Fantastic for him. Finished 8th at the first round. Really struggled, he said. Said he just could... He was driving on the limits. Whenever anybody came up to him, he had nothing left to fight with. So he just had to kind of let them through. Whenever he caught up to anybody, he had nothing to fight with either. He's right at the limit, so he'll be very pleased with improving from 8th to 4th in this. Of course, didn't win a race during the World Touring Masters season. Did have a pole position at Pukekohe. And a brilliant second place, of course. 2 brilliant second places. But Nielsen is yet to win a Touring Pro Series race. Leitner is in 3rd. Excellent. Benton Crooks is now 1.5 seconds back from Florian Strauss. Florian Strauss looking for his first Touring Pro Series win as well. Florian, of course, well known for his exploits elsewhere, but has not won a race in the Touring Pro Series. In fact, has not taken part, of course, in any Touring Pro Series events apart from this league. And it is only his second race. He should be taking a win. He's got the gap now. He just needs to drive normally, smoothly and sensibly and take that win. Got 16 laps to go as we see a big piece of front bumper there from somebody. Not quite sure who. These drivers obviously finding these cars a massive handful. Unable to keep them out of the wall. One person who has kept it out of the wall is Anders Nielsen. He's moved his way well up through the field to 4th position. 5th is John Wilson. There he is. 6th is Matt Farrow. John Wilson still needs to pit. 7th is Steve Davis. There is James Furls with huge damage to the front of his car. Tobias Schlemo is in 8th. That's Ilivanov in behind him, who's not a contender. He's back in 17th. 3 laps down. 9th is Egbear. 10th is Tim Brook. A long way behind Egbear as well. I'm not sure what happened with him in the pit stop. Perhaps he may have needed to make some repairs, but Jesper Torborg has pitted and is now rejoining. He's in a battle with Juendren. Oh, Tim Brook gets out of shape. He's in battle with Juendren Wang for the final, the best of the drivers who are 2 laps down. As he comes out of the pits, here he is, and he's going to beat JJ Wang very easily, it seems, as well. JJ had a 25-second pit stop, if I recall correctly. Torborg had a normal pit stop. There is JJ Wang crossing the line now. And here is Torborg coming down towards turn 4. Here is Ike Roding. He's been lapped by Ben Crooks, Brook, Egbear, Schlemo. There's Wilson now into the pits. He was in 5th. And of course he'll drop back down the order. Schlemer will come through. And there goes Schlemer. Through will come Egbeer as well. He might get ahead of Tim Brook, depending on how quickly he gets the pits. Go out of the pits, and there's no Tim Brook's not within sight of the hairpin. Here is Tim now with the head of steam. Can he get ahead of John Wilson for that 9th position? He can. So Tim Brook into 9th. John Wilson just behind him though, and with slightly fresher tyres of course, having pitted a few laps later. So that could be a battle to watch out for later. 11th is Ike Roding. 1 lap down, not 2 laps as it says. So it's just the top 10 that have managed to keep the cars together. The rest of the drivers really struggling. That's John Wilson. 9th is Tim Brook. Eighth now is Adam Egbeer. Fantastic for him. 7th is Tobias Schlemer. 6th is Steve Davis. 5th is Matt Farrow. 4th is Anders Nielsen, of course. 3rd is Norbert Leitner. And in 2nd place is Crook, still pursuing Florian Strauss, but the gap is getting ever bigger between those two. Florian really has the bit between his teeth now, I think. And it's really his race to lose once again. Jeff Jobin comes in and out of the pits. He's in 15th position, 3 laps down. Really has been a race of attrition here today, as to be expected. Only the 2nd race of the season. Control tyres, 78 laps, 250 kilometres. Very hard walls, very fast corners. 30 other drivers. It's going to happen. It really has been a test of these drivers. So Crooks is 2.5 seconds back from Strauss. Leitner is 55 seconds back from Strauss. Nielsen 64 seconds back. Farrow 72 seconds back. Davis 74 seconds back. Here is the battle for 5th position. Steve Davis and Matt Farrow. I can't tell you the positions in Server 2, but I can tell you that drivers such as Rodriguez, Levesque, Perez, Lennon, Stenbeck, Alberts and Clark are still running. Oh, Alberts is not running, sorry, so Stenbeck, Lennon, Perez, Levesque, Rodriguez and Clark all still running. All still contending to get back into this Division 1. Matt Farrow seems to have 3rd place starting up at one point. He's back now down to 5th. 6th is Steve Davis. 12 laps to go we have. And here is Tobias Schlemer. Let's go on board with Tobias for a lap of this track. Sit back and enjoy the sights and sounds of Adelaide Street Circuit. And that was a lap on board with Tobias Schlemo as he moves his way through the traffic. In a bit of a lonely 7th position after the action he had earlier in the race. Matt Farrell and Steve Davis still quite close together, but not quite enough. Nielsen in 4th, Leitner is now in a lonely 3rd really. 2nd place is Ben Crooks. So let's run you through the field, the stories of their race. Strauss led away from the start, a great jump he got. Pole position. And has led around until around about lap 35, I believe it was. And they made a mistake coming out to turn 9 and Ben Crooks took the lead. No, it was sorry, I got my mast lined up. I did write it down somewhere. Lap 39, sorry, Strauss made a mistake and he can't come into the pits for a shorter second stint. And then had a go at getting past Ben Crooks for that lead. Didn't quite make it stick and then hung back for the rest of the segment of the race. Came to the pits 1 lap earlier than Crooks and jumped him by around about 1 to 2 seconds after coming out of the pits. And now has held the lead ever since. Crooks has really been about 2 or 3 seconds behind Florian. Apart from after the first pit stop when Florian was balked by one of the back markers. Crooks got very, very close indeed, but then Strauss kind of flexed his muscle and pulled away from Crooks very, very quickly and kept that gap to around about 2 or 3 seconds. Leitner, on the other hand, is a very action-packed race and made his way through the field very well. He's had 3rd place in his grab several times and lost it several times. Made a mistake down at turn 4 at one point. A battle with Matt Farrow for a while. A big battle with Steve Davis and that lot as well. And Anders Nielsen. Anders Nielsen has been a very quiet race in the way. Just made his way through the field. No mistakes. And as I say that, he just clips the wall. Just taking advantage of everybody else's mishaps. Matt Farrow had 3rd place sewn up, it seemed, at one point, but a succession of mistakes. Topped off by a big spin, which took plenty of time to recover from here at turn 11. He spun here twice, actually, in this race. Backed it in at one point, and almost hitting that wall on the outside. Steve Davis did pass Matt Farrow before the pit stops. He qualified 12th. And then he came out of the pits behind Matt Farrow. He's taken advantage of other people's mishaps as well. Tobias Schlemo has made a couple of mistakes, but has been okay. He's now in 7th place. 8th place is Adam Egbeer. Very quietly moved his way through the field. John Wilson has got past Tim Brook for 9th position. Tim Brook is back now down to 10th. Big gap now to John Wilson also as well. Just 8 laps to go here. Top 10 result will be pretty good. Roding is way back now in 11th place. Stanley Lenonen is 12th, way back as well. 13th is Jesper Torborg. 14th is Juan Wang. 15th is Jeff Dobbin. 16th James Fellows. 17th Nikola Ivanov. 18th Philip Antonio. And 19th, last of the runners, is Joachim Skalstad. Skalstad and Antonio have had lots and lots of pit stops. Antonio at least 6. Was Andrew Schmidt DNF. Not sure what the reason for that is. Mark Farman also as well. And Andre Kapal. Kapal with an accident. James Johnson DNF'd also. Reese Garner as well. Dmitro Botnarenko. Gregory DeGrief we saw in strife. Had a puncture and couldn't get going again, I don't think. Had to quit from the race. Hardwick. Braham was in plenty of strife also as well. Venari's internet disconnected and Vinatea problems with his hardware. Couldn't see off, his screen turned off and had a big accident. Strauss crosses the line. He's in the lead of the race still by 1.4 seconds. Lap 71 of 78. He gets into some traffic. Skalstad just about gets out of the way, out of the way of Crooks as well. He puts another lap on JJ Wang. JJ now 3 laps down. Torborg is 2 laps down. well behind Linonen. Tolbrook having a torrid run here, qualified 14th. And some incidents during the race also as well. Not able to make the car work to his liking, obviously. After taking a 5th place in the opening round and qualifying on 4th. But Strauss, after qualifying 3rd and finishes 7th in Yas Marina, has qualified on pole. And he's looking like he's going to take a victory here today. His first victory of the season, his first Touring Pro Series victory. Ben Crooks in 2nd place. He's a well-known driver in the Touring Pro Series, of course. He competed in the 2010 season and is in both seasons also as well as the World Touring Masters. Robert Knighton, the Hungarian, has driven very well indeed, apart from his small mistake earlier. Not made it any since. Mark Fanman lost connection. Dmitry Botnarenko's game crashed, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him. I'll have to check that. Well, there's Philip Antonio with more damage on his car. Not quite sure what he's done to that car and how it's still going, frankly. Well, 5th place is Matt Farrow, 6th is Steve Davis. He can't quite make any inroads into Matt Farrow. Enough lap down, despite what the graphics say. 7th is Schlemo, 8th is Adam Egbert. It's all coming to a very quiet conclusion here at the moment. Not enough drivers on track, really. Only 19 runners left. One of which is 8 laps down. Oh, pressing all kinds of buttons here. Sorry about that. Okay, that solved it. Sorry about that. So all drivers who are still running will score points. Track has cooled off a little bit. It was 37 degrees at one point, now 35. Snelson still rotates in 4th position. Farrow still 5th. Davis still 6th. Schlemo still in 7th. 8th is still Adam McBeer. 9th is still John Wilson. 10th is still Tim Brook. 11th Roding. 12th Lenonen. 13th Tolborg still. Wang 14th. Dobbing 15th. Fellows 16th. Ilivanov 17th. Antonia 18th. And Skalstad in 19th. To see Ilivanov's car. What on earth has he done to that? Let's have a look at this. I've never seen a car so mangled yet still going. That looks horrendous. Look at that car. Look what he's done to it. He's rolled it, I think, at one point. What? He rolled it twice, it looks like. How on earth that car is still going, I have no idea. Look at it. It's an absolute mess. They obviously build the car strong in Bulgaria. Ivanov is still going, still in 17th position. And we still could pick up plenty of points. There's Antonio in behind him. He's 18th, with 2 laps behind, even 17th position. Here's James Fellows. Jeff Dobbing. JJ Wang. Jesper Torborg. Samuel Lenonen. Ike Roding. Tim Brook, whose teammate is in 6th, he's in 10th. 9th is John Wilson. A good recovery, really, from his troubles earlier. 8th is Adam Ogbeer. 7th is Tobias Schlemo. 6th is Steve Davis. 5th is Matt Farrow. Still on about 1 to 2 seconds between those drivers. 4th is Anders Nielsen. 3rd is Norbert Leitner. Still 2nd is Ben Crooks. And still 1st is Florian Strauss. And about to lap, I believe that's Tim Brook. Let's go on board with Florian Strauss, our race leader, as we just have 3.5 laps to go. He's so very smooth at the wheel. Florence, who can't even seem to catch up to Tim Brook. He's lost actually 0.8 of a second in that sector to Ben Crooks, so not sure what's happening there. This track is still laden with danger, no matter if you've got a big lead or not. Look how long he's just squeezing on the power for. Oh, he gets out of shape there, very out of shape. Just needs to be ever so careful. He's got 3 laps to go still. Ben Crooks will be right there at him if he makes any mistakes at all. Here is Ben Crooks. You can just see up the road Florian Strauss. Of course, when he can see your target, makes you all the more willing to try and get up there. Strauss is in behind Tim Brook, the inside now. Into his corner and far too deep. What's he doing? Can Ben Crooks take advantage? Going out of the corner, there's Ivanov off the track as well. And no, Ben Crooks can't quite take advantage. What is Strauss doing? What on earth was that? Very strange indeed. Look on the replay. Goes up the inside of Tim Brook to lap him and gets completely out of shape. There's Ivanov in the barrier also as well. More damage to his car. Still keeps going though. And now back to live action, and Ben Crooks is 0.7 behind Strauss now, with just 2 laps to go. Lap 77 and lap 78. Crooks pushed too hard through there though. Who's that ahead of Strauss? Of course, it's Brook once again. Here is Strauss. I've seen him have problems with his brakes. He keeps flashing on and off. Maybe that was a contributory factor. Strauss needs to have it all back under control again, but he's going to be behind Brook going through turn 8. Oh dear. This is what happened a lap ago. So he runs through there. Brook just hit the wall on the inside. Strauss goes up the inside to take the position away. This time brakes in the correct place. Oh, he's got out of shape on the power and through. He's going to go Crooks. Through's going to go Crooks. Crooks takes the lead away from Florian Strauss. Florian fights back. Crooks, he hit the wall. Strauss has hit Crooks. Crooks is into the wall. Strauss can't get past though. On the penultimate lap, Strauss makes another mistake at that hairpin. Strauss out of shape once again. Crooks, he's in the lead. Can he hold on for the win? High drama here. High drama even here at the end of this race. After 78 laps, 247 kilometres have been completed. On to 250, and they're both pushing so hard through there. Crooks on the final lap. He's in the lead of the race, and can he take the win? Can he hold on? Strauss succumbed to the pressure. Will Crooks? Strauss, we saw they make that similar mistake earlier in the race with more disastrous consequences than that, but this time he's made a small mistake, and yet he's been paying the consequences, of course, and now he's going to be fighting as hard as he can down into turn 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Through turn 8 comes Ben Crooks. He hits the wall. They both hit the wall. They're both pushing just as hard as they can. They don't care about the car right now. Let's just get the car through the corners as fast as we can. Strauss on the power once again. Can't quite squeeze it on. Into turn 10, turn 11. Through they go. Strauss squeezing the power and he can't quite do it. Crooks looks like he's going to take his 3rd World V8 Supercars win. Down into the final corner he comes. He just needs to apply the power and get to the line. And Crooks He's going to win it. Crooks wins the second race of the World V8 Supercars 2011 season here at Adelaide Street Circuit. Second place, Florian Strauss. Oh, Florian had it under control the entire race. Pole position, led the race for much of it, but Crooks is the one who has led it when it mattered. Crooks takes the win from Florian. Third place should be Norbert Leitner, way back from the leaders. He looks like he's got more damage on the side of his car as well. But a superb opportunistic move there from Crooks. He had to be there. He just kept the pressure on the whole time, kept Strauss honest, and he knew that if Strauss made a mistake, he was through. And what happened? Strauss made that mistake, and Crooks has taken the victory. Superb result for him. Third place coming across the line will be Norbert Leitner. Not Steve Davis, they were actually behind when he was trying to lap them. And through comes Norbert Leitner to take third position. Fourth position will be Anders Nielsen. Great result for him. Fifth will be Matt Farrow, who had third in his grasp for much of the race, but will come across the line in fifth. Crooks will lead the championship. Sixth is Steve Davis from 12th on the grid. He'll be happy with that. Seventh, Tobias Schlemo. Eighth, Adam Egbeer. Ninth, John Wilson. He'll be pleased with that recovery. 10th is Tim Brook. 11th, Ike Rodin. 12th, Lenonen. 13th, Torborg. A torrid run for him. 14th, JJ Wang. 15th, Jeff Dobbing. 16th, Fellows. 17th, Ilovanov. 18th, Philip Antonia. And the last of the finishers, Joachim Schaussad. 9 laps down, though. Plenty of troubles there for Ilovanov and Antonia. But congratulations to Ben Crooks for that victory. Superb victory it was. Took full advantage every time of Strauss's mistakes. And that's an excellent victory there for Ben Crooks, who will now lead the championship after a first and a third. In terms of team championship, it looks like 360 Racing took the honours there. We'll see if we can get a word with one of the drivers at the end of this race. See if we get word with one of these drivers. Let's see if they come through for us. But after a grueling 78 laps, it's Ben Crooks who takes the victory away from Florian Strauss in a dying seconds. The penultimate lap, same result, same mistake as he made earlier in the race. Didn't learn from that. Obviously, really struggling on the power later in the race. So join us again in 2 weeks' time, where we will be at 3 weeks' time. 11th of June, at the same time, and we'll be at the Melbourne Street Circuit, Albert Park, through the parklands there. So we go from Adelaide Parklands to Melbourne Parklands, and Ben Crooks will be looking to strengthen his championship lead. Gregory de Grief will have lost plenty of ground in the championship after his early retirement today. He's the reigning champion, of course, defending champion. Jesper Torborg, of course, looking to bounce back. Matt Farrell will looking to improve on his 5th position. And we'll see who comes up from Division 2 also as well into Division 1. Will be a very interesting race. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.